Personally, I have zero tolerance policies for anyone invading my home or anywhere around it. My home is the one place I should be able to feel completely safe and at peace. So the thought of someone breaking into my home and making me feel unsafe in my own house enrages me. So when I see stories like this, I have a very little sympathy for the intruder.
February 22nd, 8:30 at night, police respond to a deadly shooting at a home on 25th Avenue South. Lying face down dead in the snow was 30-year-old Martin Lee Johnson. Investigators writing that the female homeowner apparently killed Johnson after he broke into her detached garage. She told detectives she first fired 4 warning shots into the air with a handgun, and when he advanced and appeared to reach into his waistband, she blasted him with a rifle.
The lawyer in me knows all too well that what I personally feel is justified isn't always what the law deems as justified.
The Hennepin County Attorney's Office is reviewing a case to determine if a Minneapolis homeowner and her son were justified in shooting and killing a man they say broke into their garage.
Well, Randy, the man shot and killed was 30-year-old Martin Lee Johnson from Minneapolis. The homeowner says he was an intruder who came after her, reaching into his waistband. The question for prosecutors now is whether she, by Minnesota law, had a duty to retreat.
Unfortunately, this woman might experience firsthand the unpredictable world of the legal system when it comes to self-defense. And if you ask me, it's messed up. Because as responsible gun owners, we already have everything stacked up against us. A criminal gets to plan an attack against us. They get to pick the time and the place where they attack us. They get to choose how they want to attack us. And because they're criminals who don't obey laws, they get to choose any type of weapon they want to attack us with. And what do us responsible gun owners get to choose? Almost nothing. The only thing we can do is hope to see the attack soon enough to give us enough time to try to do something about it. Considering all the disadvantages legal gun owners already have to deal with when it comes to protecting ourselves, you'd think the government would do everything in its power to help us equal the playing field. But no, because the government is against us too. Instead of empowering us to defend ourselves, they waste time creating stupid gun laws that criminals don't even follow. They say that we can't have certain amount of rounds in our magazines, or that we can't own this gun or that gun, or try to put extra taxes on our bullets, or say that we can't put a piece of plastic on the end of our rifle that helps us control our gun better. They make the law so restrictive, confusing, and forever changing that you end up breaking the law when you thought you were following it.
Janine Allen of Philadelphia is living a nightmare, never thinking that when she was pulled over for a routine traffic stop in New Jersey, she would end up being arrested. After she told the state trooper she had her firearm in her purse. She even showed the officer her concealed carry permit and the receipt for the firearm she just bought the week before. The problem? Her carry permit is illegal in New Jersey.
And even when you do try to follow the law, the government does everything in its power to make owning a gun as hard and as long a process as possible.
Fortunately, Carol Bound decided to obey the law and paid with it with her life.
You know, just 2 days before her death, she had gone to the Township Police Department to check on the status of this lingering application. This could have saved her life.
And on top of everything else we have to do as legal gun owners, if the day ever comes and we have to use our guns to defend ourselves, in that moment when our life is on the line and we only have a split second to make a decision, we could still end up going to jail because the legal system didn't think our actions were justified, because it wasn't absolutely positively clear that the person who broke into our house or property in the middle of the night was dangerous enough to use deadly force against.
Criminal defense attorney Marsh Hallberg, who's not affiliated with this case, says Minnesota doesn't have a stand your ground law, but does have a castle doctrine self-defense law that says you don't have to retreat if you're in your home.
One of the legal nuances will be is a detached garage or your yard, you know, part of your house.
Where each person was standing when the trigger was pulled, Hallberg says, is very important. Then the questions to determine whether the shooting was justified.
The 2 main questions are, was there a reasonable fear of great bodily harm or death? And was the amount of force used reasonable?
The crazy thing is, even if you beat the criminal case, the family can still try to destroy you financially in civil court.
So they do not believe the narrative. They are demanding to see the evidence, including any home surveillance video, with a cousin adding that even if the father of 2 was breaking into a garage that night, the homeowner, quote, had a duty to call police instead of playing judge, jury, executioner, and God. They're now calling for murder charges.
Now, I'm not saying that we should be able to just shoot anyone who shows up on our property at night. I'm saying that making the decisions to use deadly force in a situation like this lady was faced with is already hard enough without our government making it 10 times harder on legal gun owners. Because the reality is, if you use your gun in self-defense, you may have saved your life, but you now may lose your freedom. And if you saved your life and maintained your freedom, you may now become financially ruined. And if you saved your life and maintained your freedom and your money, you still may have to deal with the emotional trauma of having to take a life. All of it is messed up, but that's our reality. And it's also why I encourage people to get some form of self-defense liability insurance. The kind of self-defense liability insurance you get with organizations like USCCA. The beautiful thing about USCCA is that there's no limit to the cost of defense that is covered. That means whether the attorneys cost $50,000 or $5 million, that amount is covered in a case of self-defense. But let's say you have some other damages as a result of your self-defense, like you lose your gun, damage to your home, having to clean up the scene. There is also annual liability insurance for up to $2 million, along with $100,000 cost of bail expenses and up to $750 a day for actual loss of earnings. But the reason I really like USCCA is because the membership isn't just about self-defense liability insurance. The membership also gives you access to a ridiculous amount of education and resources and actual self-defense training. USCCA is easily the most comprehensive membership on the market. If you want to learn more, click the link in the description section of this video or click the link in this video. You know how frightening it is to think about what happens in the moments before, during, and even days after having to use your gun in self-defense? When you first start carrying a gun for protection, it can be a very scary and nerve-wracking experience, especially if you haven't gotten the education and training you need to feel confident. I've been there myself, hoping I never have to go through a self-defense shooting, which is why I'm a member of the USCCA. As a USCCA member, you can eliminate some of the stress of carrying a gun for protection by accessing the amazing wealth of firearm education, training, and current state-specific gun laws of your state or states you may travel to. This can help you be prepared for or hopefully even avoid a self-defense incident. As a bonus, members automatically become insured on the self-defense liability insurance policy purchased by and issued to the USCCA. Click below to learn more. I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol.